everybody. Just wanted to get on and do a quick training on low carb days. I'm going to first take you to my FitnessPal. I'm going to show you the some information on the MyFitnessPal desktop version. It's just as pretty close to the same as what you're going to see on your mobile device. Not a whole lot to tell you in addition to what you already know or what you already learned in the MyFitnessPal training. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about net carbs. And here is your carbohydrates tab. I am in the food diary tab on my computer. So this is what you're going to look at. You're going to look at your carbs. This is the total amount of carbs that I've had today. I've tracked 3 food items for today. This is what I've had. You're also going to want to look at your fiber, which is not on your desktop version, but it is on your mobile device. Let me pull that up for you real fast and find what you're gonna look at on your mobile device is you're gonna go to diary. It's just down at the bottom of the screen. It's on mine. It's the second one in. Go to diary. It's going to show where you've listed, all the foods that you've eaten for the day. You're going to scroll to the bottom of that screen to where it's got these 2 black tabs. You're going to click on the nutrition tab, and it's going to have your total that you've had for the day, what your goal is, and how much you have left. What you're going to want to look at for your net carbs is you're going to want to go to your total amount of carbohydrates. That's how much you've had for the day. You're going to look at your fiber, which is right below carbohydrates, which really makes it convenient. You're going to look at how you're going to subtract the amount of fiber that you've eaten for the day from your carbohydrates. That number is your net carbs that you've had for the day. On low carb days, we're going to eat 50 or less carbs. So as far as my tracking, it's kind of early in the day for me. I've not had as much to eat yet. So I've had 13 grams of carbs. I don't know if you can see my screen at all. Probably not. But I've had 13 carbs. I've had 1 gram of fiber. So that means I've had 12 net carbs. That seems simple enough. So if you have any questions, it can get confusing, and that's okay. But the way that they have it listed in MyFitnessPal really kind of helps, makes it easier. And I do suggest keeping up with it in your mobile device. The main thing that I use my desktop version for is putting recipes in. Other than that, I almost rarely use my desktop version. So I want to talk to you about some details as far as the low carb days go. So let me get to my notes. So everybody's goal is going to be different. Just remember that. We're all going to, except for on the fats, that's going to be the one thing that's going to be common for everybody. On your low carb days, like I said, you want less than 50 net grams of carbs. If you're breastfeeding, can't talk today, that's going to be a little bit different, but I'll address that with each one individually if we've got someone in the group that's breastfeeding. But this is the only day that you will calculate your net carbs, which is what we just went over. On these days, on low carb days, what we want to focus on as far as exercising is fasted cardio, or metabolic training is what it's also referred to as. So this is the day that you really do want to try. If you can only do a few days a week of exercise while you're fasting or in your fasting window, these 2 days would be the days that you would want to do it, because we're going to have 2 consecutive low carb days. One day you're going to do high intensity interval training, and that training is in your portal for you to view and to use as a guide as you do your exercises. Those are printable now, which is very nice. You can print them and take them to the gym if you want to do the gym, or you can work out at home, which is what I prefer to do. But on another day, you're also going to do sprint training. So that will be done on an elliptical. Typically don't recommend that on a treadmill because it can be dangerous. I have tried it and it is a little dangerous, but I may be a little clumsy, which I think most of us feel that way on a treadmill. So anyway, that's the type of exercise that we're going to do on low carb day, because that encourages fat burning, muscle building, and it is going to be a little bit of cardio. But what you're going to, if you're somebody who doesn't really like cardio, this program, you're going to absolutely love it, because we don't focus on doing as much cardio because it's not necessary. Like I said, for low carb days, you need 2 days in a row. So if you do need to move your low carb days around, you need to talk to me about that first, and I can give you some guidance as far as how to do that. But for it to get the most effectiveness out of the program, we need to keep those days consecutive. But on these days, it maximizes our metabolism. We burn fat and triglycerides for fuel instead of using glycogen and sugars. So that's kind of like the bread and butter of the program. It kind of gets your metabolism really going. As far as any other information, I don't really see anything other than you will keep your protein. Try to keep it as close to the same as your regular macro days, or you don't really want to go over a whole lot on your protein, because if we eat too much protein, excess protein is stored as fat. It's broken down into glycogen and then stored as fat. So we don't want to do that, but we do want to go over on our fats on purpose today. So try to focus on eating really fatty foods, good fats, avocados, nuts, nut butter. Salmon has a lot of good fats in it. Just those types of things that are good, healthy sources of fat. Like we teach you in this program, if that comes from the ground or it has a mother, then you can eat it, or you should eat it. Except for on these days, on low carb days, you're going to just steer away from the higher carb things. You can still have some fruits on these days, just depending on how many other carbohydrates you have on these days. And that's why it's very important to pre-plan your days. If you're going to pre-plan any days, I would suggest it to be your low carb days. Because I do like to have some strawberries on low carb days. I love strawberries, and it kind of helps my sweet cravings. So I'll try to get everything put in ahead of time. That way I can make sure that I have room for those. That is all that I've got for you guys in regards to your low carb day. Let me get back to my training. So if you have any questions about low carb day, make sure that you just put those in the comments of this video, or post in the main news feed of the Facebook group page. I'll spit it out in just a second. Other than that, I'm going to get off of here, and everybody have a great day.